fully self-supported, declining outside contributions. We will now pass the basket. This is a weekly literature or step meeting. Our format is as follows. A speaker is asked to talk for no longer than 30 minutes. He or she spends 15 minutes on qualifying themselves and the other 15 minutes on either a composition from the Big Book or a step of the week, followed by group shares, discussions, or questions until 7 p.m. We then end the meeting with the Lord's Prayer or the Serenity Prayer, which is the speaker's choice. You can find our past weekly meetings on our YouTube page called the Stay Alive Literature and Group Meeting. You can also find information about our upcoming meetings and other great stuff on the Doylestown Recovery Group Facebook page. Do not forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and share. This brings us to the speaker portion of the meeting on November the 3rd, 2025 in Doylestown, PA on the Monday night, 6 p.m. Stay Alive Literature and Step Group meeting at St. Paul's Lutheran Church. Tonight's speaker is April. And I have had the honor of sponsoring this beautiful woman for a couple months now, and I'm so proud and excited to hear her story. And she has such willingness and honesty, and she's just a wonderful person. She's a beautiful soul. With that, I'd like to give April a warm welcome.
Hi, my name is April. I am an alcoholic.
Hey, April.
My sober date is 6/15/25. I have a sponsor. Of course, she knows that she's my sponsor. Her name is Kara, and she introduced me. She definitely knows that she's my sponsor.
You tell your story.
So I'm going to tell you what it was like in my life. I was born on February 13th, 1977. I was 2 months early. I was a drug and alcohol baby. My mother was an addict. My father also, she was also an alcoholic as well. So I was born early. I was like 4 pounds, 3 ounces. I spent 2 months in the hospital. I almost died when I was that young. My father also was an alcoholic, but he quit drinking when I was 6 when he passed out at the table in front of me. And I thought he was dead because he hit his head on the boombox and he was bleeding, and I got really scared about it. So I grew up in a lot of trauma. My mom kidnapped me when I was 5 years old. So I was taken from her. My father raised me, and my grandmother raised me. My stepmom did not raise me. I raised her kids for her. I raised a total of 14 kids my whole life. I've raised a lot of kids. I've taken care of people until they passed away. I was very athletic in high school, very academically smart. I was supposed to join the Navy, but I got pregnant with my son. I was 17 when I got pregnant with him. So I had to tell them no. They were after me for like 3 years after that. I married young. I married while I was in high school. I was 18. A week after I turned 18, I got married. Biggest mistake. Huge mistake. That only lasted about two years maybe. And then I went and got married again, and that's when I had my daughter. So I have 2 children. I did not drink or use any other forms of alcohol when I was raising my children or other people's children or taking care of my family members. I took care of 2 grandparents until they passed away. Literally took care of them, wiped them, washed them, did everything for them until they passed away. I took care of my father when he had stage 4 cancer. He did recover from that. I've done a lot, so this just can kind of hit anybody at any time, really. I struggled in my marriages. They were very abusive. I've been every form of abuse that you can imagine I have endured. It's pretty bad, the stuff that I have endured. So I kind of, when I was 34 is when I kind of really turned to alcohol to kind of numb everything that I was going through at the time. And like we all know, it's very progressive, and it just gets worse. It doesn't not get better. I had little bits and pieces, points of sobriety here and there. I do have a higher power, and that higher power I call is God. I surrendered my life to Him in my 20s. when I was 34, I gave up on him because I was in such an abusive marriage. My children had to watch me be beaten. There was other forms of abuse going on in my household. My church knew about it, and they recommended a divorce. When I was going through my second divorce at age 34, which is pretty hard to go through as well, and especially when you have two children. It was rough. It was really, really rough. And when my kids, I met another man, that I ended up marrying, who again was abusive. So I just kind of went from abusive relationship to abusive relationship. I didn't know anything but abuse. That was my life. That to me was normal. It wasn't abnormal to me. So alcohol was there. I enjoyed it at the time because it numbed me. I didn't have to think or feel. I could feel good and just be happy. I thought I was happy, but I really was not happy. I struggled with it for like 2 years, and then I quit, and I still was mad at God, and I tried to turn my life back over to Him, and I took it back because I married another man who was abusive. That I'm still married to him this day. I've been separated from him for 8 years now. He, was caught on video beating me, and he's in jail. He went to jail. And I was secretly relocated, everything away from him. I was like in a motorcycle club with him for like 8 years. It was pretty bad. I've been through a lot. So off and on, I was drinking here and there, and I caught my first DUI, first arrest ever. First, I never had a parking ticket. I've never had any trouble with the law until I turned 41. I just decided I was going to go out. I was feeling my emotions were getting the best of me, and I decided I was going to go out to eat and have some drinks, which was very not usual for me because I'm not a bar person. I did my bar days when I was the biker. And I was by myself, and I was like, I can, have a couple drinks and eat. So I got to the bar, had a couple drinks, and they shut down early and my food, and I drove home. I was right at my driveway, and my driveway was like a 90-degree turn, and I went to turn into my driveway, and this person behind me was speeding really fast, and I overshot my driveway and came this close to hitting my house, took out my what are they called? Those, I'm trying to think what they're called. No, the guardrail landed on my porch. It was like I had like this embankment, and it just went and it was like $6,000 worth of damage that I got a bill for. It was not good. I overshot my driveway and literally almost hit my house. I literally jumped out of my car because I was drunk. Ran in my house and washing my mouth with mouthwash, hiding in my house, going like, oh God, the police are probably on their way, because my neighbors are like, are you okay? The neighbors called the police, and I'm like, oh God. So I'm like running in there, and I was like, okay, that's it. I got to face this. I have to face this. So I went, walked back out, got back in my car and shut the door, waited for the police to come, and the police officer came to the car, and I immediately said, I've been drinking. And he was like, okay, we need to step outside the car, and we all know how that goes. So that was my first arrest. I made the newspaper. It was pretty embarrassing. The people in my church found out. It was very, very horrible. They tried to get me to go to AA meetings, and I did. I did go to AA, and I was like, this isn't me. Like, I don't know what this is about. I was like, I'm not like these people. Okay. So I didn't think I was like myself, apparently. And I stopped going. And I was like, this is just ridiculous. So I was on probation. I was doing all kinds of stuff. And that was my first DUI and first dent with the law. First dent. It just got worse because, again, as it progressed, other forms of alcohol came about. And then I got my second DUI. That time, thank God this was by myself, ran my car off the road because my tire, I don't know what happened. I was roofied. So I came to driving, and I not knowing what was going on. I have no idea what happened to my tires. These were brand new tires, but the tire just blew, and I had to slow the car down and get it. I didn't even know I was really drunk because so many hours had passed by. It was like 5 or 6 hours had passed by. And I pulled the car off the road, and a cop just comes flying and goes and turns around. And of course, I go to jail again. That I had to do 30 days for that DUI. That was rough. That was a rough year. That was a really rough year. That was in 2023. Was my last DUI, and of course, I have not had a car since. I don't drive. I won't drive. I have a vehicle, but I don't. My son has it. If I do go to get a vehicle, I have to get a blow and go in it because it's the second one. I haven't driven for almost 3 years now. So it just continually got worse, and I got together with another abusive man, and he was something else. He like, I could take all the rest of them, and like, they don't even match up to what this man was. He literally was a con artist. He stole everything from me. I mean, he went to jail, and I went to rehab with the clothes on my back, my purse in another bag, and that was it. And I went to rehab because I knew I had a serious problem. And I had to get rid of him in order to do it, and I had to be ready. I lost contact with my children. They would not talk to me, neither one of them. My kids were like, this is not my mother. I don't know who this is, because they'd never seen me this way. They never see me act this way irrationally, or, calling them drunk and just asking them to help me get away from this man and stuff like that. And he's telling them other things, and it's just a disaster. I turned my life back over to God. I got into avenues. I went to rehab in New York, and then I went to the mental institution and I was court ordered to be there because I was in psychosis so bad. I was court ordered there for 3 weeks. I went from there to another rehab, and then back to the hospital again, because I've had so much trauma in my life that it just was coming out. It would come out when I drank. I was a horrible person because I would cry. All my trauma would come back when I drank. I would relive it. Post-traumatic stress would come out, and I would literally relive it. I felt like it was happening all over again. It just kept on getting worse. My mother passed away in December of 2024. That was very hard. She died in addiction. That was very, very hard for me. That's when I really delved into, I got harder with my drinking. A lot of things have happened. But I went to another mental institution. It was a dual program. I was there for 10 days. I was in Philly. I was there for 10 days. Then I went to another rehab, and finally I had remained sober all this time. I had AMA'd out of one just for 5 hours, just because I was so tired of because the other ones were like jail. I mean, I've been to jail several times. We don't even get into that. I've been to jail several times, and it always included alcohol. But they felt like jail. They were not good places to be. When I came to Avenues, it was like a breath of fresh air. I live with a bunch of ladies. It's wonderful. I go to AA meetings all the time. I love it. I do. I love my sponsor. I love the women that I live with. I live with a bunch of wonderful women. I'm healing, and I got back with my higher power, which is, I do a lot of things to, okay. I got back with my higher power, and I feel higher on life than I've ever felt. I feel better now. There are times where I do want to run, but I don't. I'm just grateful. I'm really grateful because my life was very unmanageable. I'm safe now. I feel safe for the first time in my life. It'll be 5 months soon that I've been sober, but I finally feel safe. I can finally breathe. Like it really is in these rooms and the people that you deal with. I'm building my sober network with a lot of ladies that are wonderful. It can really happen to anybody. Doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how long. It can hit you at any age. I mean, it didn't hit me when I was young. I wasn't, I was busy raising kids and stuff. But I made a decision to turn my will over to the care of God as I understood Him, and I've surrendered. I have surrendered, and I just want to help other people and other women in here, and I don't know what else really to say.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Am I
fine.
good?
You want to end it?
Okay.
You can end it.
But okay. Sorry about that. I got a little emotional. But my journey's not over. It only goes up from here. It's been going up for me a lot. So that's it. Thank you for listening.
Wonderful. Wonderful. We have come to the part of the meeting where we will open to the floor for shares, discussions, and questions. Limit your time to 3 minutes because we have a pretty large group here tonight. And if you feel like drinking or if you had a drink, please come see me after the meeting. And now I'd like to open up for shares.